Hello everyone, welcome to episode 18 of the MEE-FIT Podcast. I'm joined here today by Dotty, who has been with us for a little while now. So we're going to be chatting a little bit about your time with us so far, Dot, what you've been up to over the last few years with us, and just kind of summarise the journey really. So would it be okay just to kind of introduce yourself to everyone who's listening? Obviously I've already said your name, but what you do and then how long you've been here.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Dotty. I'm Gidge. I live in Whitchurch. I've lived here for a while. I work for HG Oaks, compliance manager. So quite sedentary job. So I'll walk around a little bit, but mostly office based. So yes, I needed a little bit more in my life. Mm-hmm. So that's how I came across you.
Well, we'll start with that bit. I mean, it's a long time ago now. Six years, 2018.
Definitely January the 1st, because I remember I came to see you just before Christmas. Yeah. And it was really quiet. Yeah. I think the gym was shut. Yeah. And we were just sitting in the little gym on the floor and having a little chat about what to do with me.
Yeah. So if we can think back, it's quite a while now, but if you think back, what was going on for you before you got started? Like, what led you to us? What had you been doing health and fitness wise for the last few months, years?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's an easy start. Yeah. I used to be very, very active when I was in my teens and in my very early 20s. And then I stopped. Life gets in the way. You go to the pub and you watch TV and you don't really do any exercise, or at least that was me. So yes, I got to 2018 and I was going nowhere. I was overweight. I was unhealthy. I didn't have any good habits. And I was 38 years old and I thought, I really, really need to do something now. I don't want to get to my 40s because that's when things get even harder to, lose weight and get fitter. So I was looking for something. I tried all different diets. Nothing stuck long term. They helped a little bit, but nothing really helped long term. And then on Facebook, I saw your advert. Yep. And I thought, right, okay. I've tried gyms before. Again, nothing really stuck. And there was nothing that pulled me into doing long term. I would do a month and then pay the membership for the rest of the year and never go. Yeah. So I had a chat with my husband, who is fantastic and very, very supportive. And I said, listen, I want to give it a try. It's a PT gym. It's a little bit more expensive than the ones that I used to go to. But I really want to do the month trial and see how it goes. And like I said, he's very supportive. He said, okay, do it, but you really have to give it a proper go. If you don't do it and you're paying all this money, this is just silly. So I said, okay, super. I'm going to try. That's when I came to have a little chat with you and I poured my heart out and I said, I need help, Dan, do something with me, please. And we agreed that we're going to start in January. Yep. And I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. The whole month went so quickly. Everything just fell into place for me. So I said, right, I'm definitely joining. Yeah. And Andy said, okay, fine. I can see you doing it. I was there 3-4 times a week consistently for the whole month. He said, okay, do it. And 6 years
the rest
later,
is history, as they say.
I am still here 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Absolutely. You've been very, very consistent over the years, which is awesome. There's so many angles of that we could go off. The first one I want to do is just ask, you said you said 38. Do you think that was the main catalyst that led you to think, right, I need to do something? The reason I ask that is because obviously there's so many people out there who they never do anything. They just their life just carries on and they never tackle their weight, their health, their fitness, lifestyle, So what do you think was the main reason that made you think, actually, I do need to do something about this? I can't just let this carry on going the way that it is.
I think it was two things. The age was one of them, but not the most important one. For me, I was just unhappy. Okay. Like I said, some people are happy going to the pub and, going to the restaurants and enjoying themselves, and they don't really care whether they are not very healthy or not very fit. Yeah. I did. It knocked my confidence, the weight, the way I looked, the way I felt about myself. Because, my husband would say to me, oh, you're so beautiful. But I was like, but I'm fat and beautiful, maybe, but definitely fat. Okay. So for me, it was just all about how I felt about myself. I wanted to change. I wanted to feel a bit more like myself, like I used to be. Like I said, I used to be active when I was younger. So I knew what it was that I enjoyed. Yep. And I wasn't there. Yeah. So that's what I was looking for. The age was just sort of the time is ticking. I'm getting to my 40s, and people say, oh, you wait till you get into your 40s, you start menopause, you have this and that, and it's even harder. So I was a little bit conscious that the time is ticking, but the most important thing was I just wasn't happy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing. And it's just interesting to hear, because like I said, so many people don't ever make that change, and maybe they don't think they can do it. I mean, did you ever get to a point where you felt, actually, maybe I'm never going to make this change? Because you said you tried some diets, you tried some gyms. Like, did you start to think, maybe there's nothing out there for me, or maybe I'll just never?
Do you know what? Honestly, that conversation that I mentioned with my husband was a very much heart-to-heart, tears and everything, tantrums nearly. And I said to him, I'm going to give this a try. And if this doesn't work, that's my last try.
Okay.
And if this doesn't work, that means I'm just not meant to be slim. Yeah. And I just have to accept that I'm forever going to be this person.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I was so determined. It was this last stand. I'm going to make it, work this time.
Yeah.
And I liked what you were saying as well. The support, the fact that the coaches are there with you, the encouragement, the accountability, all of those things really spoke to me. And I thought, right, okay, come on. If you can help me, I think I can.
Yeah.
And that made me really want to try.
It's funny because I think we hear that quite a lot, how it's almost feels like a bit of a last resort for some people, in terms of, because they've tried, I don't know, slimming clubs, they've tried different dieting approaches, a book, a website, and an endless supply of different methods and protocols, and then they've tried different gyms, usually lacking in some of the things you've already mentioned in terms of support, accountability, maybe tried different fitness classes, they've ticked a lot of the boxes, and then this sort of thing like what we provide pops up, and it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of like a gym, but you're also getting PT and you've also got that support, and it's almost like, right, this is maybe the last thing on my list of things to try. So it's interesting that was kind of like where your headspace was at.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And I've never tried PT before. So I've tried gyms, I've tried different activities, I've tried going swimming, but all of it was, I lacked the motivation and I lacked that consistency. I would start and I would be like, the first few weeks, few months, I was okay. And then I was just like, I can't be bothered. I'm just gonna... And nothing ever really kept me going. Yeah. And I think I just needed somebody to kick my butt and keep me going.
Yeah. Well, we use that term all the time, accountability, don't we? And I know a lot of clients really resonate with that, because like you said, it's so difficult when it's just you on your own, like turning up to the gym, there's no one there to guide you, there's no one there to support you. Like, it's so difficult. And I think if fitness isn't something that comes naturally to people, or they're not people who particularly enjoy it necessarily, you can see why people go through that repetitive motion. How many times do you think you tried the different, you said it maybe a couple of times, do you think that happened?
With different gyms and different activities, probably 3 or 4 different things.
Okay.
And the food, millions, different diets, everything that there is.
Okay, cool. Well, it's good that sort of set the scene, I suppose, a little bit on what was going on. So thinking back to that then, so it was 2019, you came in for the first, you would have done a 30-day trial with us back then. How soon into that do you think you realised that, okay, this is different, this is maybe something that I can stick with longer term?
I think I loved it from the first couple of sessions. I was like, oh my God, this is super. But I used to do that with other things. Oh, this is great. So the sticking to it, I think, came in because of the other people. Okay. So there's one thing is the setup, and I love the fact that there were coaches and, teaching you. Mm-hmm. But the other people were a massive thing for me, because I was like, oh my God, it's so cool. Everybody's chatting and everybody's doing it together. Yeah. And I just wanted to be part of it. Yeah. I wanted to be those fit people and those strong people. I was like, oh my God, look at those girls weightlifting. I was like, this is so cool. So I just wanted to become part of that. Yeah. And that it still is a very big thing for me. Training with other people. So if you look at somebody and go, she's doing 60, I'll try 60. It's that motivation. I am very competitive, can you tell? So yes, the competitiveness kicked in, and I thought, right, I enjoy what I'm doing. I can get better at this. I can get stronger. I can get fitter. I can get slimmer.
Yeah.
And I am getting all of those things, and now it's just who I am.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think you didn't make it on Saturday to the summit, did you?
No, I didn't. No, sorry, I had something else.
No, it's fine. But I always do like a little bit of like the old identity bit, and I always say, I can think of people off the top of my head, and you're someone who springs to mind when I present talking about that, because we've seen, you can see that it's it's like a different. You're still the same person, but very different in a lot of ways. Like obviously very dedicated to your health and fitness, really consistent, worked around some issues and still not let it set you back, which we'll talk about in a minute. So it's an example of someone who has, completely transformed. And obviously the people who've been around you have helped you, help motivate you and keep you accountable to do that, which has been
But see, cool. Again, I never used to be that. So I struggled with motivation. So I think I absolutely agree that to become something like this, you need to make those changes. So we talk about, not only surrounding yourself with the right people. This is what was a big thing for me, being amongst the group in here. And everybody is very supportive and encouraging, and the competition of being around those people. And also with the coaches, just being there to push you and just say, are you sure this is enough? Just grab another weight. Come on. Because this is what I want. And, some people might not want to be pushed.
Yeah.
I do. And I said that to you many a times with the other coaches whenever we're doing reviews. I said, I want pushing.
Yeah.
But also, I think if you want to make changes, you need to do it long term.
Yeah.
So the commitment to the fitness, the fact that I started this journey and did the gym opened up all of those other things that I can now do. And I never thought I could. So I never thought I could go and climb a very big mountain.
Yeah, a very, very big mountain.
A very, very big mountain.
Just for anyone who doesn't know what that we're referring to, just make sure everyone knows.
Okay, so yes, I went and climbed Kilimanjaro, which was my absolute dream. For years and years and years, it was something that I thought, oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing? And I never thought I could, because I wasn't fit, because it was a pipe dream, an absolute pipe dream. But because of the gym and because of the fitness, when we had a chat, Tommy said to me one day, a few years ago now, I'm thinking about climbing Kilimanjaro. I was like, yep. When are we going? Come on, let's go. And we did it. So with a group of 16, and that was a massive achievement for me.
Yeah.
But I would never be able to do it had I not started the gym 6 years ago.
Love it.
And got...
We had to drop that in there, didn't we?
We
couldn't leave it as a big mountain.
It's me. I have to talk about Kilimanjaro at least once. But yes, so it's all about long term, and it's all about thinking what else can you achieve and who else can you become. So I became a person who can climb a big mountain or go to Madeira and walk from one side of the island to the next. And I now literally have to have a goal every single year, a challenge. So I'm already thinking about the 3 peaks.
Okay.
I need to pick your brain on this a little bit. Callum's happy. So yes, I'm thinking about doing the 3 peaks.
Cool.
But all of those things are only possible because of that first step that you take.
Brilliant. Well, we talked a little bit there, identity and shifting and all that. There's another area that you've changed that you mentioned on one of the other podcasts we did when we were talking about time and prioritizing and making it for yourself, which was becoming a morning person.
Yes.
So for context, for anyone who's listening, your usual slot is 6 a.m.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay. I am not naturally a morning person. I never have been a morning person. Total owl. Midnight is perfect for me.
Yeah.
But the only time I could, so 6 years ago when I first decided to join the gym, my life is very busy. I work a lot. I've got quite a few things going on after work. My husband works long hours. So the only time I ever could envisage to commit to the gym, especially 4 or 5 times a week, was the early morning. And so to still be able to make it to work on time, Keith, my boss, hello, I decided to give it a try for the 6 a.m. slot. The first few weeks were absolute nightmare. Getting up at 5 a.m., eyes like this, staggering into the gym with a cup of coffee. But it's possible. Anything's possible. You can train yourself. So after a few weeks, it became easier and easier. Now, to be honest, I still wake up in the morning anyway, even if I don't go to the gym. And coming to the gym and starting at 6 a.m. just sets my day right. So it's just a habit, guys. You know, you can form a new habit if you really want to.
Absolutely. I agree massively, because I think, for so many people, it's such a barrier, like the lack of time. And, that is often the only time people might have is that early morning slot where they probably would be in bed anyway. So it's like, okay, an hour earlier, get to the gym. And we hear so many people who think, I couldn't do it, but you could. Like, you've just got to put your mind to it. You've got to be consistent, set the alarm, set 2 or 3 alarms if you're really struggling.
Do my husband, bless his cotton socks, he loves sleeping. So he gets up at 5 a.m. with me because he goes to work for 6.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready together. And he even now looks at me and goes, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. You go to the gym for 6 a.m. I would be in bed for an extra hour. I'm like, yep. Yeah. Sheer willpower.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
all it is. Sheer willpower.
Yeah.
But if I don't go, the day is not right.
Yeah, yeah. How would you feel about having to come in the evenings now? Do you feel like you just... Because I know for a lot of people, we do have a lot of clients who come in the evening. Yeah. They obviously use it as like a de-stress. That type of thing is probably their reasonings. But you're just like, nah, like, couldn't do it. You like me, like, the longer the day goes on, the more likely it's not going to happen.
Yes, so for me, the motivation in the evening is just not there.
Yeah.
I'm tired, but I'm probably tired because I got up at 5 a.m.
Well,
but I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to cook. I want to spend some time with my husband because that's the only time I have with him. So it fits in my day to come in the morning. Cool. But yes, I think it would be a big adjustment if I had to change. So please don't get rid of 6 a.m.
No, absolutely not. No, it's a busy slot for us. It always has been. I think it's something that anyone can do. I think you've got to, like you said, it's extra quality time in an evening. I know for a lot of our other morning clients, it's a case of, right, finish work, I've ticked that box, like, don't need to worry about it. But like I said, there's plenty of people here who do evenings, it works for them, that's great. And I think that's the main message, is always just find what works for you and pick that as your route. But just know that if the morning slot is something that you feel that maybe would work, but I'm not a morning person,
just give it a try.
That's part of you, but you can change it. And you're an example of someone who has done that very, very successfully.
You can find time. You can always make time.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it with Callum in one of the other sessions. If you've got time to sit on the couch and watch Netflix, you definitely have time to go to the gym. It's just a choice that you're going to make. Absolutely. And, there's nothing wrong with watching Netflix, but I'd rather be in a gym for an hour.
Absolutely. Yeah. And of course, nothing wrong with that. But if it's in place of something that could be more beneficial for your health and overall well-being and fitness, then
I think if you say, I haven't got time, but you've got 3 hours for Netflix, then you do have time. Just choose what you want to do with it. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's been quite a journey here. Like, obviously you've been through some different phases of MEE-FIT. Like, we'll discuss that a little bit if you don't mind. Because obviously you started with us 2019. So you had a full year of MEE-FIT in the old gym, in the initial gym that we had. Obviously, then we were very excited beginning of 2020 that we were going to be moving here, where we are now. And then we had lockdown, which impacted us for quite a while.
It was weird, but we still did it.
Yeah.
And then, all of the changes, as soon as they were coming in, I remember we had a couple of sessions in the park with Shan walking around with like the big stick and measuring distance, 2 meters of everybody and, waving it at people, keep 2 meters. And then we had the farm, Cindy's farm, and we were doing it on the little gazebos and pouring rain. But, you guys did your best to keep us all going and keep open as much as you could, even if we couldn't be in this building. No, it was great. And I think I never stopped exercising. I think if I had stopped, if you guys stopped and the members had stopped, trying to get back to it would have been so much harder. Whereas we kept going as much as we could. And as soon as we could open, we were all back here, and it just felt like we never really had the break.
Something I wanted to ask you about, obviously, recently you've had quite a significant injury, which, let's chat a bit about that. I mean, firstly, what happened? What did you injure?
Okay, so I broke my shoulder and dislocated it, so I did a proper job. I never broke a bone in my life before, so it was not something that I knew how to deal with very well. And also, being somebody who comes to the gym 5 times a week. The first thought was like, what am I going to do? I can't go to the gym. This is just not happening. And they put me in the sling and they said, do not move. And I thought, what do you mean do not move? So I took the first sort of 2 weeks and didn't really move, and I was on very strong painkillers and sling at home, feeling very sorry for myself. And then they promised me that physio is going to get in touch, and they weren't getting in touch. So I rang them and I said, where's my physio? What's happening here? I need to move. And so they said, okay, well, you can start moving a little bit. And they said, well, you can go to the gym just as long as you don't do anything with the arm. I was like, fantastic, that's it. That's all I needed to hear, thank you. Please don't quantify any further. I'm going back to the gym.
Yeah.
And so yes, I was back 2 weeks after having dislocated and broken my shoulder.
Yeah.
In a sling. I came in, had a chat with them. And she said, don't worry, we'll sort something out. So she put me on a bike, and she was basically just making things up for me.
Yeah.
But I was in the gym. I was with the people. I had my lovely friend Joe coming and picking me up and dropping me off because obviously I couldn't drive. So yeah, I just had so much support from the community of people in here and the coaches as well. Like I said, Em would say, right, okay, how do you feel today? We're going to protect the arm, but what we're going to do is we're going to do some squats and some lunges and sit on a bike. And I think not only mentally getting out and being able to be here, which is my happy place, was so important for me. But also, I think it really helped the recovery.
Yeah.
And having spoken to the health professionals, since, so this is the injury in August 23, actually.
Yeah.
The health professionals were astounded how well I was actually recovering.
Yeah.
And they were asking, what do I do? So I explained, I go to the gym. And they said that it just helps. Even doing other things helps the circulation. It all heals the muscles quicker.
Yeah.
And also, I think the determination I had to get back into full fitness and full, ability to do all of the exercises that I want to do has helped with the recovery as well.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, I had to make a decision whether I want to have an operation to actually put some things right, which I had a discussion with my surgeon. And the questions that he was asking me was, what do you do? I'm an office worker. And he was like, right, office worker. I was like, please do not hold this against me. The fact that I'm an office worker, it does not actually define who I am. So I go to the gym and I weight lift. Yeah. And I deadlift 130 kilos. And he just looked at me and was like, right, okay, completely different approach. So what we need to do is this. Yeah. So yes, guys, don't just take things by face value when people, health professionals tell you that you should be doing this and this. Yeah. Discuss it with them. Yeah, because I just said, I need to get back to full fitness. Yeah. I want to lift. I want to be able to, do overhead press. And at the moment, the shoulder wasn't stable. So we discussed what needed doing. He decided to do some stabilizing operation on the shoulder. He wanted to book me in. I said, no, you have to wait because I'm going to Madeira hiking. Yes. So just please, fit that in as well in the midst of everything else. But yes, we've had the operation and obviously I knew it was going to put me back in a sling and put me back into, having to do recovery. So again, I went and had the operation. I gave it a week and a half this time, and I came back to the gym in a sling, with the surgeon's permission, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, again, back to talking to him, back to talking to the coaches, and saying, right, this is what I can't do, but I can do this and this. Yeah. So again, with full cooperation, with full support, happy to say that I'm getting there. Yeah. I'm still not fully fixed, but it's getting there.
Good. I love that because we have that happen all the time. Obviously, you work with a lot of people. The people are going to hurt themselves. They're going to have injuries, whether that's like an injury that they've picked up in the gym or just in their everyday life. Gardening tends to be the thing that's most problematic for most people here. We tend to find there's always gardening injuries. And so often people will go and they'll go to GP or they'll go and see someone, and it's like the first thing's like don't exercise, like don't do anything, like rest it. And I think it drives me nuts because I'm like, yeah, of course you want to rest that area. Obviously, you said you had 2 weeks off. When it's really acute, it's going to be very painful. Yep. Your general mobility is going to be impacted because you're dealing with such a significant injury. Like, yes, of course, you're going to have that time off. But as soon as you can move around again, drive potentially, or get picked up by a friend, and sort of move around in a way that enables you to do that properly, then there's no reason that you can't get back into some form of training. And there's so many areas of your body that we can continue to work. And that's always our message to people, like, come in and train your legs, train your core, train your other arm. Like, why should the other arm suffer because your one arm's broken? But it's, I don't know, it's a bit of a mindset thing sometimes, I think. I don't know. It's
definitely.
I think someone like yourself who's obviously so committed, so motivated, so dedicated to it, and you're going to make it work. You're going to do what you can, whereas sometimes other people don't.
In the last appointment that I had in a cottage hospital, the physio actually said to me, I wish I could keep you here and show you to my other patients.
Yeah.
Because she said your mindset and the fact that you want to get back to fitness, you'll push it, and you're obviously within a sensible... She said to me, you can do things as long as the pain does not get more than 4 out of 10. And so she said, just be sensible, but yes, you can. And she said, it's your mindset, because you want to, you will, and you're recovering so much quicker. And honestly, it does help the recovery. Exercising, the whole blood moving around, it does help recovery.
And
so don't just sit there and wait.
The one thing you mentioned was your mindset, and the psychological, mental health, that psychological aspect of it. I think that's huge, because you've injured yourself, so you're feeling pretty down about that. You're in a lot of pain. Your day-to-day life's been impacted.
You're sitting at home on your own.
You're bored. You're on your own. The best thing you can do is probably go and be in an environment where you're surrounded by people. You're having a good time. You've got conversation, and it's just a positive environment, not just here, but anywhere. Anyone who has an injury, go and be proactive and do something that's going to benefit you, because if you're not, it's just another thing that you're not able to do. And I'm a big believer in that. The last thing I want anyone to do is just be sat at home stressing about the fact that they can't get to the gym, or disappointed that they're going to be losing fitness and stuff. Do as much as you can. And but I don't think medical professionals help with that, and that's my biggest bugbear as a sports therapist. I don't do it much anymore because of just being in a different place, but it just drives me nuts. I was always what can we do? And again, I think you share that mindset.
Yes.
What can I do? Okay, I can work my other arm, I can work my core, I can work my legs, I can work my cardiovascular system, but don't do this and this and this, because it'll hurt your shoulder or it's going to aggravate it or whatever. Of course, don't do those things, but there's so many other things that you can do. So it's good. And you're an example of that. It helps you recover.
I think my advice to people would be, because I agree with you, some medical professionals discourage it. So what I would say is, what I did, what can I do? Yeah. So I was the one going to them and saying, what can I do?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, you're telling me, be in a sling and make sure you don't jostle it.
Yeah.
Fine. But can I do my legs?
Yeah.
Can I go for a walk? Yeah. Can I do this? Can I do that? And if you show willingness, I think they will work with you. So they say, okay, fine, but be careful and just do this.
Yeah.
But yes, don't just take it and say, oh, well, they told me not to do anything. Just ask them.
Yeah.
Ask them.
Yeah.
And they will say, yes, you can.
I think sometimes they're probably, they're covering their own back a little bit. We're a little bit more likely to take that risk in terms of yes, there's a potential here, but as long as you're careful, like you said, and you listen to the coaches or the medical professionals who've given you the advice, then there's no reason that you can't, start to explore other movements and other areas.
And we can always
be
adjust
creative,
things.
And that's what that is. It's like a challenge for us. Right, okay, how much can we get that person to do without causing any issues? And sometimes we get it wrong and you have to do things differently, but most of the time I'd like to feel that we get that right, and you can certainly work around those things. That's good. So very, very positive that you've had that mindset. It's good. So just we're coming towards time now, really got to be mindful of that. In terms of your overall kind of journey then, one thing we've not, I suppose, talked about is your achievements. I know we spoke about some different events, but from a fitness perspective, whether that's weight, whether that's fitness, strength, what are the main things that you're most say proud of, or what are the biggest achievements in your mind as to what you've achieved over the last 6 years?
There's quite a few, honestly, because not only, I think the fact that I got back into actually being able to do anything I want to do.
Yeah.
So from somebody who was really unfit, and when I say really unfit, I mean really unfit. I struggled to go up one flight of steps. I was getting really breathless, and I was really overweight, and that put me in a box of, I don't really want to exercise because it's a struggle and I'm embarrassed and I don't want people to see me. And, I was scaring myself how unfit I was. So from being that person to thinking, I can do anything. 3 peaks? Yeah. Kilimanjaro? Yeah. Come on, cool. Bring it on. There is nothing I don't feel I can do. So the confidence, massive. Weight loss? Yes, absolutely. Strength. I am so strong. I can just go and lift. My husband looks at me and goes, you're really strong. And he said, do you want help with that? I'm like, no. What So strength, fitness, just feeling like I can do anything.
Yeah. Lots of things.
Lots of things.
Love it. As annoying as it is, obviously people are very focused on body shape. Like we know that when people are looking to make a change, like I'd say 9 times out of 10, it's like that's the main focus. So could you just delve into that a little bit more in terms of where you were at versus where you're at now?
I think to start with, it probably was me as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to lose weight.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a certain shape.
Yeah.
I think what I realized through all of those years, you are the shape that you will be. So I'm curvaceous and I will always be that way. I will not be skinny. I don't want to be skinny. I want to feel good in my own skin.
Yeah.
And feeling good for me means I'm lean, I'm strong, I'm fit. You know, one of my friends says to me, Dotty, you're built for squats. And I am built for squats. You know, I've got strong legs and that's fine.
Yeah.
Just accept yourself the way you are and try to find happiness in what you can achieve. And I think it changes, your mindset changes when you start learning those things. So being strong for me and being fit and able to do those things is much more important than actually being size 10.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be size 10. I'm built for squats. So if I can be size 12 to 14 and do super good, healthy squats, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And I think that's something that a lot of people seem to share and start to realize when they go through that is what they initially, we've had it on this podcast before, another member of the 6am crew talked about it, you know, in terms of like, that was the primary focus. And yes, it can still be a target. And yes, people still might want to make changes to that, but it moves down in the list of priorities because, I don't know, it's funny, but people just, they start to realize that other things are more important and maybe what they thought they were looking for in weight loss, it maybe wasn't just that, like you said earlier, like confidence. Like confidence can still increase even without significant weight loss.
Absolutely.
You know, being, like you said, more comfortable in yourself, feeling stronger, fitter, healthier, like it has a big effect.
It does. And also, I just thought about something. I tried a few different diets, like I said, in the past. And I tried this horrendous diet once, I'm not going to name it, for my wedding. I wanted to lose weight for my wedding. It was really, really important to me. I lost quite a lot of weight. But I look at my pictures from my wedding now. I'm heavier. I actually look much skinnier because I'm leaner.
Yeah.
But I'm leaner because I'm stronger, because I'm fitter, because I go to the gym and because I exercise.
Yeah.
I weigh more because I've got nice big muscles. Yeah. And those nice big muscles make me look actually shapier, more shapely than when I was on a starving diet and trying to fit into a wedding dress. So yes, it does changes your mindset.
Yeah.
And I think fit people, you know, as in what we do here, are happier. I think the mindset change makes you realize what is important, like you said. And sometimes being able to do whatever you want to do in terms of climbing something, running something, swimming something is much more important. Or just running with the kids, or I don't know, whatever it is that you want to do. Something that you dreamt of and never thought you would achieve is more important than actually being super skinny. Yeah,
absolutely. I love that message. I really do, because we've been having a few sort of discussions about it as a team over the last few months. We was always chatting, and Claire's always bringing interesting ideas to the table. And we were chatting about there's like a bit of a kind of movement called health at any size, and it's trying to discourage people to be as focused on their weight and focus on living a healthy lifestyle and engaging in healthy habits. Exercising regularly, looking after their, sleeping well, trying to de-stress in whichever way possible, eating healthily. And yes, some of those things might lead to weight loss, but if they don't, trying to encourage people not to get discouraged, because so many people stop living a healthy lifestyle, eating better, training, exercising, all these things, because it hasn't led to the weight loss that they wanted. And trying to move people's mindset away from that, because the more I look into it, the more I think actually weight is mostly probably genetically determined. Like, yes, there's outliers to that who can make those significant changes. But if we look at like a population level, most people will stay there or thereabouts where they are. Like, so either we can fight that, or we can just, like you said, kind of almost accept that we are who we are, and there's lots of factors that can contribute to that, and live the healthiest lifestyle we can, and be the strongest and fittest, and be able to climb Kilimanjaro. That's obviously an extreme.
Well, no, but find you happy. Absolutely, find you happy. My family, looking at my mum and my grandma, they are like I am, and we always struggled to lose weight. So maybe we're just not meant to be skinny.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to be skinny. I just want to be happy and me.
Yeah.
And this is me.
Yeah. So. And I don't think that necessarily just being skinny is any healthier anyway. And we've had a few debates about this, but it's like, I just don't think the data's there to support it. Like if you start living a healthy lifestyle, fitter, healthier, stronger, like you said, you're going to be way, way further on than just if you just said, okay, I'm going to lose 20 kilo of fat, but in a really unhealthy way, potentially, So anyway, that's another podcast for another day, isn't it?
I like that one. That's a good topic.
Yeah, let's have that one in the back. Final question then for you that I always kind of end with is, let's say someone like yourself, maybe 6 years ago now, seen an advert from us, or actually more broadly than that, actually, forget about MEE-FIT, someone who's thinking about making a change with their health and fitness, but they're unsure. Like, what would be your message to that person? What sort of effect could it have on them to find something they can be consistent and achieve similar to what you have?
I will answer that with one of my sort of favorite things I would say to people. If you don't try, you're just never going to know. So take a first step and see where it takes you. And 6 years down the line, we'll chat about it again.
Yeah.
Because if I had not taken that first step, if I had not thought to myself, right, I'm going to give it a try because it sounds like something that might help me. I knew I needed help. And I was looking for that help everywhere and I couldn't find it. But you need to try. If you don't try, you're definitely not going to achieve anything. So just give it a try.
Give it a try. Love it. Thank you very much, Dotty. It's been good to chat. Like as we both said, we both like to chat when we come in, so we knew we'd get stuck in. But I want to thank you very much for your time and doing that with us today.
Thank you very much for chatting to me.
No problem. And for anyone who's listening, to obviously been told I need to mention, please subscribe on whichever platform you use to follow our MEE-FIT podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, guys.